On a quiet suburban street in early 1960s America, an unusual sight captured the attention of neighbors. Parked in a driveway was a car unlike anything they had ever seen, its body gleaming with a distinctive copper bronze finish that shimmered in the sunlight. The car's sleek, futuristic styling spoke of the jet age optimism that filled the air, with smooth curves and turbine-inspired details hinting at technology far beyond the ordinary. But it wasn't just the car's appearance that set it apart. When its engine came to life, the sound was unlike any traditional automobile. Instead of the familiar roar of a piston engine, there was a smooth, almost otherworldly hum, accompanied by a gentle vibration, or rather, the lack of it. This was no ordinary family car. It was a Chrysler Turbine Car, one of 50 specially built and loaned to everyday Americans during 1963 and 1964. These cars were part of an unprecedented experiment, placing a revolutionary gas turbine engine in the hands of ordinary drivers to gather real-world impressions. Yet despite its striking presence and advanced engineering, the turbine car never became a common sight on American roads. It remains a fascinating enigma, a glimpse of a future that never fully arrived. To understand why Chrysler embarked on this bold journey and why the turbine dream faded, we need to look back to the era's soaring hopes and the company's pioneering quest for a new kind of engine. To understand this remarkable car, we must first explore the post-war jet age optimism and Chrysler's pioneering quest for a new kind of engine. In the decades following World War II, America was captivated by the promise of the jet age. The roar of jet engines, the thrill of rocket launches, and the vision of a high-tech future fueled a national optimism that embraced speed, innovation, and modern design. This cultural backdrop shaped not only aviation and space exploration, but also the automotive industry, where manufacturers sought new ways to push boundaries. Among them, Chrysler stood out with an ambitious goal: to harness the power of gas turbines for the automobile. Unlike traditional piston engines, gas turbines offered a radically different approach to propulsion. With fewer moving parts, smoother operation, and the potential for multi-fuel capability, turbines represented a technological leap. Chrysler's engineers began exploring this possibility well before the striking copper-bronze Ghia-bodied cars appeared in the early 1960s. Their work built on years of experimentation with turbine-powered prototypes, each iteration refining the concept. Early turbine engines were compact and lightweight, attributes that suggested advantages in performance and reliability. Chrysler imagined a future where cars could start instantly, run quietly without the vibration typical of piston engines, and require less frequent maintenance. The aesthetic of this vision was equally important. Jet age influences went beyond engineering, inspiring the design language of the turbine car itself. Sleek lines, futuristic details, and a distinctive metallic sheen evoked aircraft and space vehicles, capturing the era's fascination with flight and progress. Yet despite the excitement and innovation, the challenge was immense. Adapting turbine technology, originally developed for aircraft, to the demands of everyday driving required solving complex issues related to throttle response, fuel efficiency, and emissions. Chrysler's early turbine efforts were a blend of engineering ambition and corporate vision, driven by the hope that this new powertrain could redefine the American automobile. These years of research laid the foundation for the 1963 Chrysler Turbine Car, a machine that would bring those jet-age dreams into the hands of ordinary drivers. For Chrysler, the pursuit of turbine power was more than a technical experiment. It was a statement about the future of American engineering. The company's early turbine prototypes, though never intended for mass production, served as rolling laboratories that tested the limits of what was possible. Engineers faced the daunting task of adapting a technology born in the skies to the unpredictable realities of city streets and highways. Each prototype revealed new challenges, from managing the intense heat generated by the turbine to ensuring that the engine could deliver smooth, reliable performance in stop-and-go traffic. These efforts unfolded against a backdrop of public fascination with anything that hinted at tomorrow's world. The very idea of a car powered by a jet-like engine captured imaginations, fueling anticipation for what might come next. But turning turbine technology into a real car ready for the road required years of experimentation and refinement, leading to the landmark Ghia-bodied model. Years of experimentation culminated in a car designed not just for the lab, but for the streets of America. But it was unlike any car before it. Chrysler's journey from early turbine-powered prototypes to a vehicle ready for public evaluation was a painstaking process marked by steady engineering progress and a clear distinction between concept and reality. Throughout the 1950s and early 1960s, Chrysler had been developing various experimental turbine automobiles, including earlier Plymouth turbine prototypes. These were primarily test beds, vehicles built to explore the potential and limitations of gas turbine technology in an automotive context. Unlike these preliminary models, the 1963 Chrysler Turbine Car was engineered with the intention of real-world use, representing a significant leap forward in reliability, drivability, and design. Central to this advancement was the fourth-generation turbine engine, which incorporated regenerators, special heat exchangers that captured exhaust heat and used it to preheat the incoming air. This innovation improved fuel efficiency and engine response compared to earlier iterations. The turbine itself remained true to its fundamental advantages: fewer moving parts than a conventional piston engine, smooth and vibration-free operation, and the ability to run on various combustible liquids. However, Chrysler was careful to present this fuel flexibility realistically, acknowledging that not all fuels were practical or recommended for everyday use. In parallel with the engineering breakthroughs, Chrysler sought to create a car that would capture the public's imagination. To achieve this, they partnered with the renowned Italian coach builder Ghia in Turin. Ghia's craftsmanship and distinctive styling brought an elegance and sophistication that contrasted with the turbine engine's futuristic technology. The body they produced was sleek and modern, finished in a striking copper bronze hue that echoed jet-age themes and America's early 1960s optimism about aircraft, rockets, and technological progress. This collaboration marked a turning point where turbine innovation met refined automotive design, producing a car that was as much a symbol of future possibilities as it was a functional machine. In 1963 and 1964, Chrysler assembled 50 of these Ghia-bodied turbine cars, specifically for a public evaluation program. Unlike earlier prototypes kept under wraps, these vehicles were loaned to selected American drivers across the country. The goal was to gather real-world impressions and data, testing the turbine car's performance outside the controlled environment of the lab. This program was unprecedented, putting a gas turbine-powered car into the hands of ordinary Americans for limited periods. The road to this point was shaped by years of trial, error, and refinement, each step bringing the turbine car closer to practical reality. The evolution from experimental prototype to a public evaluation vehicle reflected not only technical progress, but also Chrysler's willingness to engage directly with consumers, inviting them to experience a vision of the future firsthand. The collaboration with Ghia brought jet-age style and craftsmanship that made the turbine car a striking symbol of futuristic optimism. The Chrysler Turbine Car was more than an engine. It was a rolling statement of jet-age optimism and craftsmanship. At a time when America looked skyward, dreaming of aircraft, rockets, and the possibilities of space, Chrysler sought to embody that spirit in metal and paint. The car's body, crafted by the renowned Italian design house Ghia in Turin, Italy, was a striking departure from conventional American styling. Its sleek, flowing lines and low-slung two-door form captured the era's fascination with speed and futuristic technology without veering into science fiction. The distinctive copper bronze finish, unlike any typical automotive color, shimmered with a warmth and depth that suggested both modernity and elegance. This unique hue, combined with subtle turbine-inspired details, created an unmistakable visual identity. The exterior design echoed the streamlined forms of jet aircraft and the promise of a new technological frontier, reflecting early 1960s America's confidence in progress and innovation. Chrysler's contribution went beyond the bodywork. Beneath Ghia's sculpted exterior lay a chassis engineered to support the unusual turbine powertrain. The company's engineers integrated the gas turbine engine with a transmission system designed to deliver smooth, continuous power to the wheels. Unlike traditional piston engines, the turbine's operation required careful attention to balance and weight distribution, factors that influenced the car's overall engineering. The result was a harmonious blend of Italian craftsmanship and American mechanical ingenuity, producing a vehicle that looked as advanced as it was engineered. The turbine car's design also represented a deliberate effort to distinguish it from both conventional automobiles and earlier Chrysler turbine experiments. While previous prototypes explored the technology, the Ghia-bodied cars were intended as public-facing symbols of what the future might hold. Their appearance communicated ambition and sophistication, inviting drivers and observers alike to imagine a world where the boundaries of automotive technology could be expanded. This collaboration between Chrysler and Ghia was more than a partnership. It was a fusion of cultural aspirations. Italian design flair met American industrial ambition, resulting in a car that was as much about style and symbolism as it was about engineering. The turbine car's look captured a moment in history when the promise of technology seemed limitless, yet the practical realities of mass production and everyday use were still being understood. Each curve, each surface, and every detail contributed to a visual narrative that spoke to a hopeful future, even as the challenges ahead loomed large. Even the smallest elements, from the turbine-shaped wheel covers to the elegantly sculpted rear deck, reinforced the car's futuristic intent. The interior, with its metallic accents and purposeful instrument layout, echoed the exterior's forward-looking philosophy. Every aspect of the turbine car's presentation was carefully considered to evoke a sense of anticipation for what tomorrow's automobiles might become. But beneath the elegant bodywork lay a powertrain unlike any other, the heart of the turbine car's promise and challenge. Beneath its sleek exterior, the Chrysler Turbine Car housed an engine that promised a driving experience unlike anything offered by traditional piston engines. At the heart of this innovation was a gas turbine engine, not a jet engine pushing the car forward with thrust, but a compact turbine that converted fuel into mechanical power to turn the wheels through a conventional transmission. This distinction is important. Unlike an aircraft's jet engine, which expels exhaust gases to generate thrust, Chrysler's turbine used the spinning of turbine blades to deliver rotational power, much like a piston engine's crankshaft. The turbine itself was a marvel of engineering, featuring far fewer moving parts than a typical V8 or inline-six engine. This simplicity contributed to its famously smooth operation, with minimal vibration and a unique, almost otherworldly sound that drivers quickly noticed. The turbine's design included regenerators, special heat exchangers that captured exhaust heat and reused it to preheat incoming air. This clever innovation improved fuel efficiency by recycling energy that would otherwise be lost, a critical step in making turbine technology more practical for automotive use. One of the turbine's most intriguing features was its fuel flexibility. Unlike conventional engines designed for gasoline alone, the Chrysler turbine could run on a variety of liquid fuels. Documented demonstrations showed it operating on diesel, kerosene, and even unconventional substances like tequila and perfume. While these anecdotes captured public imagination, it's essential to understand that not all fuels were practical or safe for everyday driving. The turbine's ability to handle multiple fuels reflected its aerospace heritage and highlighted its potential versatility. But real-world use favored more conventional fuels. Despite its smoothness and innovative design, the turbine engine presented challenges. Its throttle response was notably different. Acceleration from a stop could feel sluggish compared to piston engines, requiring drivers to adjust their expectations. Fuel economy under typical driving conditions was another hurdle. The turbine's appetite for fuel was generally higher, especially in stop-and-go traffic. Engineers also grappled with high exhaust temperatures and emissions, which posed technical challenges rather than outright dangers. These factors, combined with the cost of manufacturing such complex engines, shaped the practical limits of the turbine car's promise. Still, the Chrysler Turbine Car stood as a bold experiment in reimagining automotive propulsion. Its powertrain was not just a technical curiosity, but a statement about the future of driving, smooth, flexible, and different. For many Americans in the early 1960s, the idea of a turbine-powered car captured the spirit of technological optimism that defined the era. The car's futuristic hum and jet-age styling were more than just novelties. They embodied a belief that engineering could deliver entirely new experiences behind the wheel. This sense of possibility was central to the excitement surrounding the turbine car's debut. With this revolutionary powertrain ready, Chrysler took the bold step of placing the turbine car in the hands of everyday Americans. The turbine car wasn't just a prototype, it became part of daily American life, if only for a while. In 1963 and 1964, Chrysler embarked on an unprecedented public evaluation program, placing 50 Ghia-bodied turbine cars into the hands of carefully selected drivers across the United States. These weren't professional test drivers or engineers, but ordinary Americans from a variety of cities and backgrounds, invited to experience firsthand what it was like to live with a truly revolutionary machine. Over 200 participants, including family members and friends, got the chance to drive and ride in these unique vehicles, though none ever owned them permanently. Each car was loaned for limited periods, then reassigned or returned, making the program a dynamic exchange of real-world impressions rather than a traditional sale. Drivers quickly noticed the turbine's distinct character. The engine's smooth, almost humming sound replaced the familiar rumble of a piston motor, and the absence of vibration made for an unusually serene ride. Many found the car's futuristic styling and copper bronze finish matched the advanced technology under the hood, connecting with the optimistic spirit of the early 1960s, when Americans were captivated by jets, rockets, and the promise of the future. But living with the turbine car was not without its quirks. The engine's response from a standstill was often described as sluggish, requiring a different approach to throttle control than drivers were used to. Fuel economy varied depending on driving conditions and fuel type, sometimes disappointing those expecting conventional efficiency. Still, the reduced maintenance demands and the novelty of a car that could run on multiple fuels sparked genuine enthusiasm among many participants. The geographic and demographic diversity of the drivers helped Chrysler gather a wide range of data from real-world conditions, city streets, highways, and varied climates. This breadth of experience was crucial for understanding how the turbine performed beyond controlled test tracks or laboratories. The stories of these everyday Americans bring the turbine car's history into sharp focus, grounding its technical achievements in the realities of family life, commuting, and weekend drives. Their experiences reveal a machine that was undeniably advanced, yet still navigating the challenges of integrating new technology into familiar routines. For many participants, the novelty of the turbine car extended beyond its mechanical differences. It became a conversation piece in neighborhoods and workplaces, drawing curiosity wherever it appeared. Some families recounted neighbors gathering to listen to the car start or marvel at its distinctive exhaust note, while others described the sense of pride and responsibility that came with representing a new era of American engineering. The program's structure, with cars rotating among households, fostered a sense of shared adventure and anticipation. Each new driver brought fresh perspectives, and their feedback offered Chrysler a rare glimpse into the hopes and hesitations of real-world motorists. But as drivers logged miles, the turbine's promise met the realities of everyday use, revealing strengths and weaknesses alike. Behind the smooth ride and futuristic appeal of the Chrysler Turbine Car lay a series of real engineering challenges and driver experiences that would ultimately shape the technology's future. As dozens of Americans took these cars on the road, their feedback painted a complex picture, one that balanced extraordinary innovation with practical limitations. Drivers consistently praised the turbine engine's remarkably smooth and vibration-free operation. Unlike traditional piston engines, the turbine's fewer moving parts meant less mechanical noise and a uniquely quiet hum, creating an almost serene driving experience. Many noted the distinct turbine sound, a gentle whine rather than the familiar growl or clatter of a combustion engine. Alongside this, the reduced routine maintenance requirements struck a chord with participants. Without the need for oil changes, valve adjustments, or spark plug replacements, the turbine promised a new kind of ownership, one less burdened by the upkeep that had long defined car ownership. Yet, beneath these appealing traits, practical challenges emerged during everyday use. One of the most frequently cited issues was the sluggish throttle response, particularly noticeable when accelerating from a standstill. Unlike piston engines that respond almost instantly to driver input, the turbine's power delivery involved a slight delay, a characteristic inherent to its design. This lag could catch drivers off guard in stop-and-go traffic or when merging onto highways, requiring an adjustment in driving style. Fuel economy also proved less than ideal, especially in urban conditions with frequent stops and starts. The turbine engine, while capable of running on various fuels, did not match the efficiency of contemporary piston engines under typical driving patterns. This was a significant consideration at a time when fuel costs and consumption mattered greatly to consumers and manufacturers alike. Moreover, the turbine's operation presented a learning curve. Drivers accustomed to conventional engines had to adapt to different sounds, accelerator responses, and even the way the car felt underfoot. While some embraced this new experience with enthusiasm, others found it unfamiliar and sometimes challenging. Engineers, meanwhile, grappled with technical hurdles beyond the driver's perspective. High exhaust temperatures raised concerns for both safety and environmental impact, while emissions control remained a difficult problem to solve within the turbine's operating framework. These issues reflected broader challenges in adapting gas turbine technology, originally designed for aircraft, to the demands and regulations of passenger cars. Importantly, the public evaluation program was not a simple story of failure or success. Many participants appreciated the turbine car's innovative qualities and the glimpse it offered of automotive progress. At the same time, the practical realities, fuel use, throttle lag, emissions, and cost, proved significant barriers to mass production. These mixed results underscored the complexity of translating cutting-edge technology into everyday vehicles. The Chrysler Turbine Car stood at a crossroads between promise and practicality, offering undeniable advancements while revealing the limits of its era. As the evaluation concluded, Chrysler faced difficult decisions about the fate of the cars and the technology they embodied. As the Chrysler Turbine Car program came to a close, the 50 vehicles that had been loaned out to American drivers were recalled. What followed was a quiet and complex process that led to the disappearance of most of these remarkable machines. Unlike typical production cars, these turbine cars had a unique status. They were experimental vehicles, owned by Chrysler, but temporarily entrusted to consumers strictly for evaluation. This meant that once the testing phase ended, the cars were not theirs to keep, and Chrysler faced the question of what to do with these one-of-a-kind automobiles. Several practical and legal factors influenced the fate of the turbine cars. Import regulations played a role, as the bodies were crafted by Ghia in Italy and brought into the United States under special circumstances. Their experimental nature meant they didn't conform to standard safety or emissions requirements that would apply to production vehicles. Maintaining and storing such specialized cars also posed challenges for Chrysler, especially as the company decided not to pursue mass production. Rather than preserving the fleet, Chrysler ultimately chose to dispose of most of the cars. This decision was not driven by a desire to erase history or suppress the technology, but rather by the realities of ownership, liability, and corporate priorities. The destruction of the majority of these turbine cars was a practical outcome, reflecting the experimental status of the vehicles and the company's strategic direction at the time. It was a decision shaped by complex considerations rather than a single motive. However, the story doesn't end with loss. A small number of turbine cars were spared from destruction. Some were retained by Chrysler for historical and promotional purposes, while others found their way into museums and private collections. These surviving cars have become treasured artifacts, representing an extraordinary chapter of American automotive innovation. Their distinctive copper-bronze bodies and turbine engines serve as tangible reminders of a bold experiment that challenged conventional ideas about what a car could be. These preserved examples allow us to reflect on the ambition and creativity behind the Chrysler Turbine Car program. They remind us that this was not just a fleeting curiosity, but a serious attempt to explore new frontiers in propulsion and design. While the public evaluation ended and the cars largely vanished from the roads, their legacy endures in these rare survivors. As the turbine cars faded from the streets, the questions about why the turbine never reached production remained unanswered. For those fortunate enough to encounter a surviving turbine car today, the experience is more than a glimpse of a rare machine. It is a direct connection to a moment when American engineering dared to imagine a different future. The preserved cars invite curiosity and admiration, not only for their striking appearance, but for the spirit of experimentation they embody, standing as silent witnesses to an era of bold technological exploration. While the cars faded from the streets, the questions about why the turbine never reached production remained unanswered. Behind the Chrysler Turbine Car's striking copper bronze exterior and its promise of a futuristic driving experience were practical hurdles that ultimately shaped its fate. While the concept of a gas turbine powering an automobile captured imaginations, the realities of bringing such technology to mass production proved daunting. One of the most significant challenges lay in the manufacturing cost. Turbine engines, with their precision components and specialized materials, were expensive to produce compared to conventional piston engines. This made the prospect of selling turbine cars at a competitive price to the average American driver a difficult proposition. Fuel efficiency was another major concern. Although the turbine engine could run on a variety of fuels, its consumption rates in everyday driving conditions lagged behind the well-refined piston engines of the era. Especially in stop-and-go city traffic, the turbine's fuel economy suffered, making it less practical for widespread use. Drivers also noted a sluggish throttle response from a cold start, a characteristic inherent to turbine operation that contrasted with the immediate responsiveness expected from traditional engines. These unfamiliar driving dynamics, while intriguing, posed challenges for acceptance among consumers accustomed to conventional cars. Emissions presented further complications. The turbine's exhaust, characterized by high temperatures, required careful management to meet emerging environmental standards. Although not insurmountable, these technical hurdles added layers of complexity to an already ambitious project. At the same time, advances in piston engine technology were rapidly improving fuel economy, reliability, and emissions control. These ongoing developments narrowed the gap between the turbine's theoretical advantages and the practical benefits offered by conventional engines. It's important to emphasize that no single factor or regulatory action abruptly ended the turbine program. Instead, it was a convergence of economic realities, engineering limitations, and evolving market demands that led Chrysler to reconsider mass production. Despite these setbacks, Chrysler did not abandon turbine research immediately. The company continued to explore gas turbine applications well beyond the 1960s, reflecting a persistent belief in the potential of turbine power, even as the commercial viability remained elusive. The 50 Ghia-bodied turbine cars loaned to American drivers during 1963 and 1964 offered invaluable insights. They demonstrated the promise of smoother operation, reduced vibration, and lower routine maintenance, qualities that impressed many participants. Yet the practical difficulties and costs associated with the technology could not be overlooked. After the evaluation program concluded, most of these cars were quietly retired and dismantled, their experimental nature and import status contributing to their limited preservation. This chapter in automotive history stands as a testament to a bold experiment constrained not by lack of vision, but by the complex interplay of technology, economics, and consumer expectations. Though the turbine dream dimmed, the legacy of the Chrysler Turbine Car remains a testament to American innovation and daring. For many who witnessed or participated in the program, the turbine car symbolized a moment when American engineering dared to imagine a radically different future for everyday transportation. Though the dream dimmed, the legacy of the Chrysler Turbine Car remains a testament to American innovation and daring. Though most of the Chrysler Turbine Cars vanished after the program, The few that remain stand as rare and remarkable symbols of a bold chapter in American automotive history. These Ghia-bodied cars represent one of the most ambitious efforts ever made to bring gas turbine technology from experimental labs into everyday hands. While the turbine car never became a mass-produced reality, it was far from a forgotten failure or a suppressed secret. Instead, it was a sincere and carefully engineered experiment that revealed both exciting possibilities and practical limits. The smoothness of the turbine engine, its distinctive sound, and the futuristic styling captured the spirit of an era defined by optimism about technology and the future. Yet the commercial challenges, cost, fuel economy, emissions, and throttle response, proved formidable barriers in a rapidly evolving industry. Chrysler's turbine program continued quietly beyond the 1960s, but the dream of a turbine-powered car for the masses remained elusive. Today, these surviving cars invite us to reflect on what might have been and remind us that innovation often requires bold risks and honest lessons. What do you think the Chrysler Turbine Car tells us about the future of automotive technology? Share your thoughts below. If you're fascinated by stories like this, consider subscribing for more explorations into automotive history. For many enthusiasts, seeing one of these rare cars in person is a reminder of how far imagination and engineering can reach when a company dares to challenge conventional thinking. What do you think the Chrysler Turbine Car tells us about the future of automotive technology? Share your thoughts below.